Great. Well, I'm so excited for today, and I want to welcome everyone. I'm Susan Patrick, the CEO for the Aurora Institute, and we have such an esteemed group of researchers and experts across the field. Welcome to the official National Research Convening on Building the Evidence Base for K-12 Personalized Learning. I just want to express my deep gratitude for all of the work that you're doing across the field. Today is meant to be truly collaborative. It's a chance for us to come together across the field and learn from each other. Can you go to the next slide, please? So welcome, please use the chat to introduce yourselves, highlight your work, your organization, where you're joining us from. But let's use the chat all day throughout. Questions, comments, resources. We welcome those contributions. We want this to be valuable for you. Feel free to tweet using hashtag Aurora 2020. And please know we're recording and archiving today's event. It's a big day, but we think it'll move through fairly quickly. And we go to the next slide, please. So the big topic, why is it important to build the evidence base for personalized learning? We know that rigorous quantitative research on personalized learning is still fairly rare and more research is needed. We need to build understanding of which elements lead to stronger outcomes for particular students in particular settings. We are taking a learning stance on what needs to happen and learn in partnership, bringing together all of the researchers and practitioners in the field. The next slide, please. So we have worked at Aurora with the field as it matures and collaboratively with many of your organizations to create some field-tested definitions for personalized learning, competency-based education, and a logic model for competency-based education. Again, these are working definitions tested with the field, and we really focus our definition around tailoring learning for each student's strengths, enabling student voice, providing flexibility and supports, and ensuring mastery. Next slide, please. In our work, we did a study of how the field of personalized learning was growing, and we're seeing personalized learning advance across the field with this growth from 2015 to 2017. The next slide, please. The elements that we found across these growth clusters included professional learning communities, the use of learner records with learning progressions, strong student supports, and a focus on learner agency. We're confident that a 2020 update would show even more growth. These maps were before the pandemic. Reports from the field on our initial survey that we did during June this year show growing recognition of the importance of personalized learning for students. Well, next slide, please. So why are we convening today? We have so many talented and devoted researchers, practitioners, intermediary organizations that are engaging in a growing array of valuable research and evaluation studies on personalized learning. The presenters and the attendees for today comprise an exceptional density of the key thinkers and doers in personalized learning research and advocacy across the United States. There is more we need to understand about the experience of diverse and marginalized groups of students, opportunity youth, and how to overcome longstanding inequities. To do this, we need to question biases and the biases of prevailing research paradigms and how to use and build understanding when designing and implementing new innovations and personalized learning models. So today we're going to get an update on research happening across the field. It's important for us to understand each other's methods and findings, the successes and challenges, and the work that still needs to be done. Thanks for being with us to get to know each other's work, to collaborate, and to communicate across clear messages. So next slide, we're going to take a look at the agenda for today's convening. It's a big day, but it should move along at a fairly quick clip. In our opening session, we'll hear from Stuart Hudson of the Lowenstein Foundation, who we deeply thank for their generous support of this convening and this work. We'll hear from Jillian Joe from Leap Innovations. She will kick us off with a keynote that will be followed by the next session of researchers sharing the latest research across the field. There'll be 2 sessions, each series of 10-minute high-level overviews for specific research projects, followed by breakouts of approximately 15 minutes where we'll have a chance to interact and go deeper on the research. Then in the afternoon, we'll hear from practitioners, 3 communications professionals, and we'll focus on the utility of this research for educators and guidance for strategic communications. Finally, in our closing discussion, we'll ask everyone to share some reflections out and consider next steps. So next slide. Here's an overview of the learning goals and learning objectives to build shared understanding, to build capacity, to communicate around the evidence base, and to maximize its utility and usefulness for educators. Next slide. So building the evidence base will provide a vital role, and I just want to express my deep gratitude. I'm grateful for all of today's presenters, that you're bringing your time, you're investing with us to share your wealth of knowledge. I have deep gratitude to everyone who's participating here. We appreciate you being here, and we'll be asking you to be actively involved all day. We're grateful to you for sharing your thoughts and expertise. We also want everyone to know that they can have self-care. If you need to get up and get a glass of water or grab some food, please feel free to do that too. And last but not least, I want to thank our team at Aurora, Elliot Levine, our Director of Research, DeQuindra Bertrand, our Director of Communications, and Natalie Slocum, our Director of Strategic Partnerships here, who have dedicated countless hours in their commitment to forming this project and the rest of the symposium events. So now it's time for me to turn it over to Stuart Hudson, who's the Executive Director of the Leon Lowenstein Foundation. I just want to thank the Lowenstein Foundation again for making this convening possible. You have supported our recent research webinar series of 10 sessions in 10 weeks focused on building the evidence base for personalized learning, which are now complete and available for everyone for viewing on our website. And the convening that was originally intended to be in person at our symposium, and this webinar series was going to be the research track at the symposium. We do appreciate the Foundation's flexibility and encouragement as we shifted these to virtual events. So Stuart, thank you so much. I'll turn it over to you now.